Hey, Shalom, Markings, Rakam, Makapashim, Jimis, London, giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bashem, Yahweh Shai, Bashem, Chachwadash. I want to give double honors unto the elders, the apostles of GMS, and Shalom out there to the hopeful that's pushing his truth and all sincerity. Back again with another video. I'm going to entitle this one, The Curse of the Black Horse is Rampant, the price is up, right? Everything's going up, right? Everything to do with cost, the cost of living is going up, right? We're in that time. Okay, we're watching biblical prophecies come to pass. Okay, and this is all concerning the black horse. All right, which I'm gonna get into, man. But just to check on the news feed, right? Type in price increases, right, in Google. Tap the news tab, and you're gonna see a bunch of stuff just going on, right? So I'm gonna ignore the Apple one for the time being because that's not really what I want to get into. But it's a farming labor shortage could mean price rises. MPs warn, right? Everything concerning produce, which is critical. Grains, wheats, and all that kind of stuff. Food, because a the most basic of needs is food and water, right? So when them things are being threatened for either access to them is being threatened, so it's a limited supply. Okay, prices go up, right? And the price can go so high that you can't even afford it. Okay, even if it is there, you know, and that's what is going on right now. That's what the world is experiencing. This whole uh, war between Ukraine and Russia right now is causing a great negative impact upon the world's food supplies. All right, and it's pushing these prices up. Okay, well, I'm gonna tap on some of these. I'm just gonna see what it's saying, right? So there's a farming labor shortage, okay, which has been going on, right, since pretty much since the pandemic, all right, perhaps even before that, right? But you know, a lot of people left their work, right? This is chronic labor shortage, and when they use this term chronic, that means there's no real way of sorting it out. Okay, there's no solution to the shortages, so don't count on them being filled. Don't count on these shortages returning and being back to normal. No, it's chronic. They're the ones calling it chronic. Okay, they haven't got a solution to the shortages. All right. Uh, Chronic labour shortages in the food and farming sector could lead to price rises and the UK becoming more dependent on food imports, MPs warn. The report by the Environment, Food and Rural Affairs Committee said CV and Brexit had a huge impact on the sector, right? Yeah, because the whole Brexit thing took its toll too. 500,000 vacancies, man. Look at that. Right? Just gone. Right? And again, it's making us reliant on imports, which are going up. Okay, when we import a lot of shit already, right? But all these prices are going up. Let's have a look. Lack of skilled butchers, right? So if you want to get a good job right now, get your butcher game on, and find you a job, man. They might pay you half decent, man, because they need them, and they need them desperately, right? Right. So, right. So wait. This is while price rises, right? This is while the report welcomes some of the government's work, it warned that without fundamental change, okay, there's no solution. There's no solutions on the table to make this fundamental change. They don't know what to do about it, right? It says the UK was facing a chain reaction of wage rises, right? Cost, these companies' cost is going up, right? So it's going to put the cost of food up naturally, right? For them to make money, for them to even be able to do the job required, man. It costs money, man. right? This is leading to price increases and food production being exported abroad, right? And they talk about the immigration problems and all that kind of stuff, right? So that's one thing that's going up, right? But I'm gonna grab this quickly. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 4. Okay, this is all prophecies, man. This is all written here, right? This is verse 4. And the doors shall be shut in the streets when the sound of the grinding is low, right? The sound of the grinding is the work, right? And them men are lacking the workforce, right? The grinding is low, right? So there's a, problem with unemployment, all right? Should start from verse 3, really. It says, in the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, the working ceases, right? Because they are few workers, and those that look out of the windows be darkened, and the door shall be shut in the street. Okay, and that's why you're having all these stores closed down, these chains closed down. Okay, because they're in financial difficulties, man. And right, the second the workers going into liquidation. P&O, they try to shift off 400, of their workers so they can get cheap work in, because they can't survive. Okay, they're in financial difficulties, man. Right, and like I said, it's all been brought on by these chain of events that have taken place here in Europe. Right, that the Most High has sent as curses and plagues upon the earth. Right, it says when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music should be brought low. Right, so that's that happening. Right, energy price bill shock for millions as rises hit. Right, 5 days ago, April 1st. Millions of people will now feel the impact of an unprecedented £700 a year rise in energy costs at the same time as a host of bill hikes take effect. Everything is going up, right? People are getting screwed right now, right? 54% rise in energy price cap means a household using a typical amount of gas and electricity will now pay £1,971 a year. A further rise pushing the annual bill up to $2,600 should be expected in October, so it's going to go up again, right? Because they're having a problem with energy supply. Like I said, the whole war in Ukraine and that kind of business, right? With Russia, that's having a big effect on it because they own a lot of the gas and oils and all types of this stuff here, right? So, in Ukraine, they got all the grains and stuff, right? So it's having a huge impact on Europe, right, and the world market, right? So really, it's having a huge effect on the whole world, right? Council tax, water bills, and car tax are also going up for some on the 1st of April. Why are prices rising so quickly, man? Because it's the end times, man. It's prophecy being fulfilled. Okay, it's happening. Okay, this is the time we're living in. Okay, it's chronic. There's no solution to it. It is a whole, you know, cataclysmic event happening right now. It's all coming together. It ain't gonna stop, and until, like I said, the Most High fulfilled His word, right? It doesn't return unto Him void. Okay, when He sent His word. All right. So yeah, it ain't just certain. It's like everything's going up. Energy cost, the TV bills going up, and council tax up 4%, water bills 2%. Yeah, that's not so important. Fuel, obviously, but minimum wage is up 7%. Yeah, great. Gas just went up 50%. Ain't touching nothing. These little pay rise ain't touching nothing. It's the worst. It's worse than under Thatcher. Energy price rise, power pressure on the UK. Film. Photography, film going up 60%. And some other interesting ones. Sunflower shortage. That's going into the sunflower oil because they were getting it from Ukraine. So now them man have to use rapeseed oil or canola oil. I think it's also known as out there, right? So yeah, sunflower shortage. Why cooking oil has become so expensive? Cooking oil is going up. Look at that. You know. So the fuel prices, they try and cut it by 5 pence, man. But like again, they ain't touching nothing. Ain't really doing shit. It says the cost of filling a family car with petrol was a third higher in March than it was a year ago, while a diesel car costs 40% more. And the chances 5p fuel duty cut has done little to help. All right. Yeah, man. Okay, it's happening. Okay, I know you people out there don't want it to be true, but it's happening. This is all happening. Even Amazon Music going up. Restaurant chains raise prices. Consumers are starting to notice. Yeah, because it's costing them more to get get the items in. It's costing them more to bring things in. Cost them more. They probably got to pay more rent, pay more electricity and gas like everybody else. Right, so they got to put their prices up. Otherwise they're gonna go insolvent. That's how it works, right? 8%, 6%. Yeah, people are starting to notice. Chipotle's menu prices are about 10% higher. And like I said, these numbers, like, for the most part, right? These numbers are little. These numbers are even still little as compared to what they're gonna get to. All right. Belthorn Dairy Farm says milk price increases is inevitable, and brother did a video on this recently, man. I can't remember what he mentioned. If it's like 50% or something like that, like milk and butter and cheese and stuff, man. They're about to go up. It says that East Lancashire Dairy Farm says milk price increase are inevitable as the cost of living soars and the Ukraine-Russian conflict continues to have knock-on effects. Their milk prices will be increasing by 15% in the next 5 months. When was it dated? That's 11 hours ago. Right, so from every item, every day's, to luxury items, everything seems to be going up. And buses, the buses are charging more money. Hey, this is the funny one. This is a funny one, right? Because they've been trying to push everybody on these electric cars, right? Well, guess what? Your electric just went up. Right, electric car owners face massive price hike after Ubitricity ups its charges. Yeah, ain't so effing cheap now, is it? But you're still doing better off than petrol, I guess, and diesel right now. So I guess you can't be too salty, right? But yeah, like this moment in time is unprecedented. What's happening right now, like everything, right, globally. You know. Yeah, it's lucky I had to pause it there, but yeah, we're living in an unprecedented time, man. All this stuff is happening all at once, man. And this is, like I said, this is all part of the prophecies that we read about. we speak about in these scriptures, right? You know, we're coming into the end times where everything is gonna fail. Okay, everything is going to fail. All right, and be brought down and destroyed. All right. uh, so yeah, them electric men are not gonna be happy either. Restaurants, yeah. Surging costs for UK food producers point to higher prices ahead. So most businesses say they have been hit by rising energy bills, labor shortages, and squeezed supply chains. So costs for UK manufacturers have shot up in an unprecedented manner. There's that term again. According to official statistics that point to the price of food rising further later this year. So, you know, don't think it's slowing down, right? It's like we keep telling you. And let the scripture say, man, that the plague slack not, you know? Plague slack not. This is in March 2022. 60% of UK business in the food and beverage sector reported being affected by rising energy prices, the highest of any industry and well above the 38% average across all sectors, data showed. Prices rose at an annual rate of 5.1% in February, the fastest pace in more than a decade. Since prices are shot up in an unprecedented manner, said a food manufacturer that took part in a survey by the ONS. Then electricity prices and wages on top of our raw materials is very difficult. We are struggling to keep pace with the increases. Right? And yeah, all the men are saying the same thing. All right, so you know, like I said, man, this there's plenty of news articles on various different um angles of this. Who is affecting, why it's affecting them. All right. Mr. Iceland. Let's see what he's got to say. I'm trying to think if he was the one that was saying at one point, man, that the show is afforded, we'll never have a shortage or something like that. Don't know when it's coming up. Let's try this again. Yeah, looks like the same wrong with the site. But yeah. Food prices single biggest issue facing UK, warns Iceland boss. Alright, so you get the point. You get the point by now. Egg farmers. UK supermarkets must raise price or will go under. Hey man, everything's on a knife edge right now, man. Everyone's getting done over. And it's, because the Most High is bringing the judgment upon this place. Alright? Second Ezra chapter 16 verse 21. I don't know if you can jump up, man. It's verse 14 says, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled and shall not be put out till it consume the foundation of the earth. Like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon the earth shall not return again. Right? Things are not going to go, return to normal. Okay? The beginning of woe is me, who will deliver me in those days? The beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils, what shall I do when these evils shall come? Right. So what we're on the precipice of is famine, okay, war, like proper war, not this skirmish that's going on in Ukraine and Russia right now. Proper war, global war, world war, third world. Right, great death. That's what we're on the precipice of, man. Great sorrows, great mournings, great evils. Okay, this is just the start. You know? See, behold, famine and plague, tribulation and anguish are sent as scourges for amendment. But for all these things they shall not turn from their wickedness, nor be always mindful of the scourges. Behold, victuals shall be so good cheap upon earth, that they shall think themselves to be in good case. Are you still thinking that? You know, I know you're feeling the pinch, right? But things are going to get worse, man. So, you know, even relative terms, man, things are still cheap, right? You're going to wish you can go back to these days after this is all done, right? So even then shall evils grow upon earth, sword, famine, and great confusion, man, not knowing what to do. How, you know, how is this happening? Why is this happening? You know, it's only the men of the Lord that fully understand the situation that they're in, or the world is in. And that's why we're going to have stability of mind. Wisdom and knowledge shall be the stability of thy times, man. And, you know, we ain't going to be bugging out when all hell breaks loose, when shit hits the fan. You know? When there's no food in the supermarkets no more. You can't get access to food no more. You can't afford food no more. You know? Things like that. Okay, we're going to, you know, put our trust in the Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Alright? So for many of them that dwell upon the earth shall perish of famine, and the other that escape the hunger shall the sword destroy. And the dead shall be cast out as dung, and there shall be no man to comfort them. For the earth shall be wasted, and the cities shall be cast down. Okay, this is the casting down of Esau's kingdom. Okay, and it shan't be built again. Okay, this is the last time. Alright, there shall be no man left to till the earth and to sow it. Right? Ain't nobody gonna be working. Ain't gonna be no one doing any type of labor, man. They're gonna, you know, fighting for their lives, man. Fighting for their survival. Alright, so the trees shall give fruit, and who shall gather them? The grapes shall ripen, and who shall tread them? For all places shall become desolate of men. Right? It's gonna be great death, man. You know? But like I mentioned at the beginning of the video, you know, actually, I'm gonna leave that to last, actually. Yeah, I'm gonna leave that to last. I'm gonna grab, oh, wrong one. I'm gonna grab this first, right? Just in conjunction with the previous scripture, right? It's Second Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19. Right, so the man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and great tribulation. You know, and like I said, you know, Ukraine is deemed the bread basket of Europe, right? So, you know, your staples, your foods, you know, everything's being used. You know, all this grain is being used for all these types of foods that get produced. You know, it goes in feeding the animals that produce food and work and stuff like that, right? It has a massive effect on the whole of the production, you know. So like I said, all the things are only going to get worse, right? It's just because of lack of bread and for great tribulation, man. There's going to be great violence upon the earth, great death. Okay, but like I said at the beginning of the video, you know, this is the black horse coming into play. Okay, that's prophesied here in Revelation chapter 6, right? Because this black horse represents, you know, these inflated prices. You know, that's what it represents, man. Essentially, inflation and the rising of all these prices becoming, you know, unaffordable, unattainable. You know, spending everything that you got on very little to survive. You know, if you can even have access to it. You know, and this is Revelation chapter 6, verse 5. And when he had opened the third seal, I heard the third beast say, Come and see. And I beheld, and lo, a black horse. And he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the 4 beasts say, a measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny, and see thou hurt not the oil and the wine. Right? So when you go into this now, okay, a penny, represents a denarii, right? Or 10 denarii or something like that. Denarii means 10. And these are silver coins, right? And basically, this penny talks about here, back in the day, was equivalent, or was able to buy you an ass, a donkey, right? So it was sizable. It was a man's daily wage at the time, right? But for all of this daily wage that you get, you can only buy a measure of wheat. Okay, and the measure here, what it is like a liter, which is of small capacity, right? It's not a lot, so it's gonna cost you everything you got pretty much to afford even the basics of necessities, man. The smallest, of products, and you gotta feed you, your family, or that. And you gotta be tight with that. You can't you can't waste none of that. You can't overeat, right? You're gonna eat in the smallest portions to make it last. And there's another scripture that speaks about that, man. I can't remember where it is right now, or how it goes, but there's another scripture that speaks about that, right? That you should eat your bread with measure or something like that. You're gonna be rationing the hell out of stuff, man, because you can't afford it anymore. Whether it be a loaf of bread, you're gonna make sure that loaf of bread lasts you until you're able to buy again. If you can buy again, you're gonna make that last as long as possible, man. So you ain't gonna be eating 2 slices of toast every day. You ain't gonna be doing that, right? You're gonna be nibbling the corners and stuff, trying to make it last. So that's how bad things are going to get, right? The prices are going to become so crazy that it's really going to take all of your earnings, your livings, your wages to buy the least of things, man. Nothing compared to like now. You can just go in the supermarket, you pick up some eggs and bread, and pick up pretty much what you want. Yeah, the prices have gone up, but it ain't at the levels it's gonna get to. Okay, you might walk into the shopping that day if you can, right? And like I say, all you coming out is with bread and eggs, because that's what you can afford. It's gonna get crazy, man. Like I said, it's just the black horse at play. The Most High sent, the judgment upon this kingdom, man, to bring it down to its knees, and that's exactly what's happening, man. Okay, it's an unprecedented time that we're living in, a real global judgment. All right, so I'm gonna say shalom. I hope this is edifying. And I'll catch you brothers and sisters on the next video, man. So till then, I say shalom.